All right, it is the morning of August 25th, 2024. Beautiful late summer morning. Just out for a walk here, and sometimes when I look back at older videos, I'm most interested in to see the landscape and how things have changed. So I thought I would just timestamp this walk because who knows, maybe a few years down the road, things will look a bit different, and this is a good way for me to see the changes. So there's River out for a swim. Hello, Riv. You going for a swim? And if I look across here, see down the river. And I'm just going to walk down the path back to the house here. I'm standing underneath the rail bridge, the CP rail bridge, and as of now, there's about one train per day that goes by up to the Nefton mine. So here's the path that I spread a bunch of mulch in because there was so much poison ivy. You can get up to the train tracks up this hill, but it's quite steep and there's lots of poison ivy. All right, Riv, keep walking. Now, right at this junction, there's an opening down to the river. Give you a better view of the bridge from here, across the road, and downstream there. And from here, if I go back up, there is a path that way, but this one is a little more groomed. We can tell that it's late August because the goldenrod has started to flower. Come on, Riv. And you can see the bench and the sign at the top with a nice view of the river from above. But we're going to go not up the hill to the top of the path, but through the woods. And one tree of interest is this big ash tree that's split right down the middle. It's been that way for 5 years. If you look at the top, there is still some life in it, but not easy to take down because there's trees. It's hung up in these trees up here. I'm hoping one day it just falls on its own. There's lots of good firewood in there. It's a big pine tree that fell during the storm. In fact, you can see the trees, all the ones that are fallen over or dead, were knocked down in that big storm. Here's another tree of note, a black maple, very big. I do tap it in the spring for sap. It gives a fair amount of sap. Not as good as the sugar maples, but I'll put a few buckets on that tree and get a couple gallons of sap from that. Well, here is another ash tree that's dead that is just begging to be turned into firewood. The idea is to drop it down this way. It could be a fall project. You walk through the path. The bees are busy on this plant. Bumblebee. to hear the cicadas. It gives you an idea that it's pretty hot and summery still. So all these trees that were knocked down, including the ones in there. Challenge is the deep poison ivy that's everywhere here. There's a few caterpillars this year, more than last. There's a big white pine. It's been knocked down. A lot of trees like that have been knocked down. The storm almost caused a lot of these trees to look like they're like palm trees, as in they're like very tall with nothing except for the top left. But lots of carnage. Turn around behind me here. This one here, the cedars, and this little ornamental fence we built was crushed by the storm, so hopefully we can rebuild that at some point too. All right. So this is kind of the transition from the pines and the maples and the ash and elm and all that, hemlock, into straight up cedar. There are some basswood, birch, the odd thing, but as you can see, mostly mid-sized cedar trees. This little stretch along here, constantly adding mulch to it to kind of level it out so it's more flat. Now the past 2 days I've seen an eagle somewhere right in here. Don't see it today. There's 2 dried crab shells that we got from Salt Spring Island that we ate while we were there. We kept the shells, thought it'd be fun to post them somewhere. It's kind of, looks like they've always kind of been part of that tree. It's kind of the idea. Subtle, which is right across from this little feature too, which is a cow skull, which looks pretty cool. Something cool to look at when you walk by. There's the well, the mysterious well. A chunk of styrofoam down there. Somebody dug this out by hand many years ago. Not sure who, not sure why. There's the trail that goes up to the gardens. And here we get into the clearing where we kind of hang out. So, got the canoes up there, kayaks down there. This big spruce tree that fell over, I just put a fern on top. Swing set. River crashing around. There's the tree house up there. The dock. Looking south down the river. This big tree. It's kind of cool that it's still there. Hello, little friend. treehouse. Okay, Riv, let's go up. The lawnmower's in the shop, so that's why the grass is way longer than I'd like it to be at the moment, but forgive me for that. Little fire bowl. Go check on the chickens. There's 11 hens in here. Oh, they hear me coming. They're all hanging out. The garden, which is in the late summer stage, most has been picked out. A lot of squash, zucchini, anything with from the pumpkin family that just grows like crazy. Even things we didn't plant. Like, we didn't plant this. It just grew out of the compost, I guess. The bees like it. I see tons of bumblebees in the flowers. There's this morning's harvest. Composter. Raccoons like coming in here, and so this is how I feed the chickens actually. Got this PVC pipe. It's kind of hard to do with one hand here, but the lid pops off. I just pour the food down here, and the chickens can eat out the bottom opening down there. As you can see, it's getting low, so I gotta fill it back up. So maybe this is a good time to end the video. Well, I'll come back to that in a minute. I just want to finish showing the house. For my original objective for this little video was to capture, timestamp the property. Scooter in the grass. The house. There's the wood pilots. All the hardwood there, well, it's all hardwood, came from the forest here on the property. Lilac trees. Oh, look at this goldenrod. These have been growing for about 5 years. They're all about 4 feet high, and this goldenrod, one little season, outgrows them all. Another sign of late summer is you see the tall, very tall corn in the farmer's field there. Take a peek down. Settlers Line to the south. Oh, there's a car coming. Let's get a taste of that cornfield. You can see the highway way down there. Okay, come on, Riv. There's up the road. Come here, Riv. Come on. Riv. She likes to sniff around the end of the driveway. This big white pine tree. Hey, Riv. Riv, come here. Rivy. Let's go. Come here. Good girl. Stay off that road. Come here, Riv. Riv. River, come here. Good girl.